Hi, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of the First Generation Millionaires podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr, and I'm super excited for today's episode because I'm kind of riding the vibrational and energetic high of an event that I hosted yesterday. And I thought what might be really powerful for those of you in the spirit of no gatekeeping, obviously, for those of you that couldn't make it in person, to share some of the value that I did at the event because knowledge is free. Why not share it? And there were so many powerful shifts from what I was sharing, the narrative that I was bringing around to business, that I think it needs to be said. So I'm going to share it with you today on today's episode. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast because it obviously helps me to reach more incredible women like you, or first generation founders like you. So the first thing I want to say about this event was I actually think in my heart, when I was reflecting on it, it's one of my most favorite events that I've ever hosted. It was a really beautiful, intimate CEO session. There was like 11 or 12 of us there, but it was nice and intimate. We had obviously some structured training, but it was very open. It was very feminine in the way that there were lots of conversations going on, hot seat coaching, so I could kind of pivot, adapt, tailor the message, answer specific questions, give bespoke feedback based on like industry nuances and backstories and context, which you can't do in structured or large scale events. And then we also had a lovely lunch. And I was just kind of looking around the room at one point and thought, wow, this is like the dream, because I don't feel like I am expending energy in any way whatsoever. If anything, my cup is being filled because I'm witnessing such beautiful conversations and exchanges between the women that are there. I'm getting lots of beautiful feedback there were women there from my academy and my mastermind, which was lovely, but also new ladies as well, getting to know them, their business, their experience. It was also like nice confirmation for me of what I'm creating in my academy, in my mastermind, in for the event next year, that what I am talking about, what I kind of intuitively know to be true, is actually correct, because I'm getting this straight from the horse's mouth. And that this collective shift that I feel is coming for entrepreneurs, for women in business, is kind of unfolding. So that felt really good, walking away and just feeling like that was like a warm hug of a day. Basically everybody there was lovely. Everybody there was very much in the spirit of women supporting women. There were lots of open, honest, raw conversations, no pretenses. Yes, content was taken, obviously, because you've got to balance the masculine with the feminine, but there was no like, I'm just here to be seen, I'm just here to get what I need, I'm just here for me. It was all just everything that I talk about in terms of being the change that you want to see in the world. When the world feels really dark and you can feel really disempowered, and when everything just feels very heavy, the government, the economy, the algorithm feels like it's against you, you're getting conflicting information from sources outside of yourself, i.e. gurus and coaches and experts. I use that loose termly. You can just feel very much confused, disempowered, and separated from your own divine power and intuition. And then being in those spaces was just, no, actually, I've got this. That felt really nice to be part of that process where not only am I imparting knowledge, but I'm also empowering the women that you already know a lot of this. You already have transferable skills. You already have innate wisdom in you. Let's just kind of apply that to a business setting. And that's where I think a coach and a business mentor can really help you to do that. So yeah, so that felt really, really good, because like I say, again, in those crazy times when everything feels outside of your control, the one thing that you can control right now as a woman is your business. And it's about recognizing that as the truly powerful opportunity it is to reclaim your power in life, because it's more than just a business. It is an expression of you in its biggest form. Your views, your values, your strengths, your gifts, your natural personality types, your zones of genius, that all gets to be weaved and in woven in to your business. And then equally, it's your party, right? You get to show up on the platforms that you feel aligned to. You get to talk about the subjects that feel really close to your heart. You get to work with the clients and serve the women that you really want to serve. And you get to do it your way, to your timeline, with your financial goals, and genuinely in the way that you were always meant to do it. in line with your purpose, your passion, and your skill set, and all of these beautiful things. And we need to appreciate that as women, like what the gift of the opportunity that we have in front of us living in this time. And I talk a lot about first generation founders for this reason. So, first generation founders for me are the ones that are going first. We are typically millennials who have just seen an opportunity to start to create more autonomy, more flexibility, more freedom, more empowerment within our own lives by building our own businesses. But we don't have anyone before us that gave us permission to do that. We don't have positive role models, positive female role models that paved the way to show us that it was okay to be bold, to be different, to be outspoken, to be audacious, to be vocal in terms of what we want. We are the brave ones that are doing it first with um no kind of permission from anybody else. My mum worked in the co-op. Like, she was definitely not paving the way for me to live this beautiful life on my own terms and create success, whatever that means to me. So therefore, and equally in my friendship groups and my family, like, I've had to kind of navigate all of this, the backlash, the unintentional backlash, the naysayers, the cautious concern from people around you, the friends that have kind of made fun of you. Like, I've had it all in my entrepreneurial journey, like the comments about being cringe and the negativity online. I've also had that in press features where I've actually had people that I've never even met that seemingly hate me, and have made like incredible assumptions about my ability to be a parent, my ability as a partner and as a woman. And I've obviously got a rich husband and all of these kind of things. I've experienced all of that because I know that inside me there is something more that is coming. When I do the work, I am creating space and opening doors and creating safety for other women coming up behind me to do the same. That also includes my children. So this for me is the powerful thing, that the more that I create these beautiful communities, these events, these safe spaces where women genuinely feel seen, held, heard, and able to have honest, authentic conversations and talk about the woo woo and talk about all the things that they're passionate about, that is me paying it forwards and making the world a better place. Because the more we normalize that and move away from these patriarchal, stereotypical um, norms and expectations and societal bias, and expectations about women, the more that that becomes a bit weird, the better, because then we'll have like healthy, happy, healed, empowered women making really good money and therefore doing really good things with that money. And there'll be this huge collective shift in awakening and consciousness and acceptance and tolerance and love and fulfillment and healing for everybody. That's how we make the world a better place. So for me to be able to do that at this event, that will then filter out and support these women to go and create whatever that version looks like for them in their communities and group coaching programs and audiences online, that to me is the true legacy as a first generation founder. I'm like giving myself snaps for that because that was essentially like the whole uplift of the day. It was like so empowering, so emotive, so beautiful, like just one big love fest. But obviously we had to balance that out with the strategy as well. So this is what I wanted to share with you today on this podcast episode. So the first thing that I did was essentially get the women to really get focused on what does success look like for you in 2025. And this isn't just financial and business growth. What feels really important to me as a wealthy woman is that we are creating success in all areas of our life. We're not forsaking one area for another. And having, been behind the scenes of, high ticket coaching businesses, having been in peer masterminds with high ticket coaches, a lot of those women sadly are either very much in their masculine, and that is how they've made the money because they've burnt out their adrenal glands, being consistent, being on, being in hustle 24/7, or other areas of their life have kind of fallen away, like their relationships have deteriorated, they have terrible mum guilt, they have imposter syndrome, mindset battles, they don't necessarily have a lot of money or profit or emotionally regulated nervous system around money. They're continually live launching and they know when they take their foot off the gas that their business is going to fall away, so they are essentially running on hustle and fear. And That for me is not something that I want to perpetuate for my clients or anybody that I come into contact with, because I know where that road leads. One of the things that I think has really been the embodiment of what I teach, but also testament to my ethos and values on long-term sustainable business, is the fact that I've still been here over 10 years later. In that time, I've created a very healthy relationship with failure. I have done a lot of generational healing. I've done a lot of personal development. I've created environments that allow me to be successful. I have you know done a lot of different things, and I've given myself permission to pivot, to evolve, to expand, to change. And that for me, as well as nurturing and building relationships and not burning through audiences, not prioritizing quick cash, um, focusing on the long game and not just what can you buy for me, what can you do for me. That to me all weaves into the ingredients of what it takes to be a very happy, healthy, wealthy woman, and have that long term entrepreneurial journey, a long-term business success. So I got them to look at, like I say, all of the different areas of their life. So business, financial, health, personal growth and development, their home environment, because we know that influences the way that we show up in the world, and also their relationships. So I was saying equally, as a mother, I appreciate my kids are getting older. I am not the center of all things like I used to be for the ones that are becoming like preteen and teenagers. That means that what I used to use as my measure for success around intentional touch points and quality time is not the same anymore, because they don't need me as much. They don't want me as much. And equally, I don't want to create this toxic codependent relationship where they have to check in with me to validate me. I want them to be empowered, but equally now it's about like leadership, high level conversations, more intentional quality time that's probably on their terms versus mine, i.e. things that they want to do versus what I want to do. And it's not going to be as frequent. So I'm going to, manage my own expectations in that. But if you take a moment today to go through those headings, like what would success look like for you at the end of 2025? Because for a lot of us, I know, and again, confirmation as I'm looking around that room, 2025 has not been kind. There has been a lot of like pivots, failed launches, misalignment, growing pains, things that work that are no longer working, that people don't talk about in the online space, because we want to imagine that everything is amazing, right? Because otherwise people aren't going to invest or buy from us. But actually, that is part of the entrepreneurial journey. It isn't always a 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. You have to have the dips. That's the time to really, and this is where the healthy relationship with failure comes in. You have to embrace those times that you either get the result that you want or you get the lesson that you need. And that is just an opportunity for feedback, for realignment, to reevaluate things, and hopefully come forwards with something that is even better, even more like a deeper embodiment of what you teach, even more innovative and creative, and something that nobody's ever seen before, and even truer expression and deeper connection to the work that you do. So that is my intention for you. If you've also had a 2025 that has been a bit of a shit show, let's be honest, because I definitely have. I've had health challenges again that kind of rippled over from last year, personal challenges, financial challenges. I've talked about this online. I've had a lot of clients that have fallen away, potential leads, deals that were set up, contracts that were pretty much signed. And obviously that is just clearing space for things, because I know as a money mentor, in order for me to be an abundant, wealthy woman, I have to be an embodiment of abundance. And that is accepting the losses, knowing that there is always more to come. And it isn't just about the money, it's about abundance in all areas of life. So have a think about those headings, as I said, those different areas of your life. Maybe it's different for you. Obviously health, I think I put in there. But what would success look like from where you are right now, from this lens, not from like, well, it needs to be bigger and better and bolder and all of the things? Because to me, what feels like success right now is obviously some element of growth, and I've got some exciting things coming up. But to just get back to kind of where I was, but with more ease, with more flow, still making the same money, more would be better, but with more, just more ease, and, more aligned clients, more impact with those clients would feel like success right now. And then what I also took the ladies through, so we had a really beautiful guest expert. Her name is Kirsty Mason. If you don't know her, go and find her. she did an incredible work session around identity and like what version of you needs to embody like this next level of success, what part of you doesn't want it. Obviously, you know, when we think about these big audacious goals, does it really get to be that easy? There'll be a lot of like monkey chatter in your mind that will tell you that it's not okay, it's not possible. So you need to obviously overcome that. She did a really beautiful session. I would definitely recommend, and I'll pop her she's got a lovely future self meditation, so I'll pop that in the links today, because I always love to pay it forward and credit where it's due. And then from there, what I found, which is very common with women, is that we have got all the ideas. There is no limit to our inspiration, our downloads, our creative insights, and our hearts, our goals, and our desires to create so many beautiful things. But that can be very overwhelming. Too much choice is just as bad as not having any choice, in my opinion. So, because it can stop you from taking any movement forwards. So, at least if you've only got like one choice, you're moving forwards, even if it's not ideal and it's not what you want to be doing. So, what I got the ladies to do was literally just get a blank piece of paper and focus on one thing, one offer that they wanted to scale over the next 90 days. Now, obviously, I did a little bit of discussion around offer suites, and you should always have 3 levels of opportunities for people to work with you. So 3 offers. So something low ticket that's accessible, equally have really great integrity based free content that you can really stand behind and know that that is going to give people value, like this podcast today. A mid-tier scalable offer, which is typically a one-to-many, that allows you to scale and have more impact, allows you to build monthly recurring revenue. Maybe that's through payment plans and through in longer term containers. And then your premium offer, which is your most sacred space, your highest energetic exchange, and is almost like by invitation and really select. So for me, that's my mastermind. I'm happy to jump on extra calls. I'm happy to jump in somebody's Kajabi, because those women are paying me for that proximity and that intimacy and that bespoke feedback and my energy in their business. At the academy level, it's a different dynamic. It's more about teaching. It's the women that are on their journey to embody that wealthy women, that are making money, scaling, launching, and need more of like the teacher mentor role. So I have 3 very clear offers. So I've got the mastermind, which is about the high level conversations. It's about female leadership, industry changing conversations, higher level strategies, visibility strategies. But you can't have that unless you already know who you are, unless you already have an offer suite and a business that can support that level of growth. You need to have your foundation in set in order to obviously join the mastermind, so that everybody at that table is at the same level. They might be doing different things, they might be doing it in different ways, but they've already got some embodied wisdom and some lessons that could help other women. We're having the higher level experiences and the higher level, through retreats and luxury retreats abroad, and the higher level conversations at that table. Then I've got my academy, like I say, that is accessible to anyone and everyone, regardless of if you haven't even started your business, if you're starting it, or scaling it. Then that is there for you. And then we've obviously got the power circle for anybody again, which is I don't need coaching or mentoring. I'm good. I just need visibility opportunities. I need opportunities to collaborate. I need opportunities to be seen, find affiliate partners, referrals, leads, connections. That's where the power circle is. And I've got 3 very distinct clear offers. So what would make sense based on everything that I want to achieve by the end of 2025 is that I really go all in on scaling the academy. And then as people come to me, if that isn't the right fit, I've got something above to signpost them to, and I've got something below also. So just let that land for a minute and have a reflection on what that could look like with your business model. Sorry, ladies, just plugging my laptop in. I jumped on this morning with complete enthusiasm and excitement, and didn't actually do the thing. But hey, one thing I talked about with the ladies is not overly curating your content, not allowing it to be a whole big thing, moving from embodiment and having content that really showcases like who you are as a mentor, as a coach, as a service provider will actually help you on the back end, because if you pretend to be this polished perfect person online and then the reality is you're fun, you're engaging, you swear, like any of those things that could potentially be polarizing on the back end or a misalignment, like it's just going to end up with client refunds, misalignment, you're not calling in the right people. Like for me, because I allow myself to move, not only does it keep me more consistent, not only does it mean that what I'm creating is more timely, because it's typically I've been activated from a conversation or something that I've seen, or something within my mastermind that somebody's asked, and I always believe it's, if it's for the good of one, it's for the good of all. So I love to share that wisdom in the moment as it's come through, because I give myself permission to create in that way. It makes it very easy for me to create content, even with 6 kids, even with 100 school runs, even with while nursing a new baby. I can still show up and give value because I give myself permission to do it as my authentic self. It also means there is no misalignment between anybody that signs up to my program and sees me online. They are not going to expect a perfectly A-type, masculine, structured, highly organized person. They are going to expect a high energy, passionate, got your back, let's go, ride or die cheerleader who's also done quite a lot of things, that has a lot of knowledge, but is absolutely obsessed with you, because that is the energy that, first of all, I bring to the school run, to my Asda food shops, to life every day, but especially to my clients in my programs. So if you are sitting there right now struggling with, oh, I haven't done my hair, I can't show up online, I've got to get onto Canva, I need to do my grids, how's this going to look? Let me please take that pressure off you right now, because I have made a very successful coaching business. And equally, as we move into the age of like AI and ChatGPT and, these inauthentic people that are online, you showing up and giving yourself permission to show up as your full authentic self is genuinely going to be the game changer, because that is where you get to stand out online. That is where people get to see your content and be like, this feels like a breath of fresh air, she's talking to me. That is where you will get the most amount of conversions. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up, ladies. So hence, this is me being the embodiment of that, because I hadn't charged my laptop up. So if that offends you, I'm probably not the right mentor for you. Because ladies, I give myself permission to move. And as we said yesterday, messy makes me millions. And our ability to overthink and be so scared about risk is what will keep us stuck from actually taking the action and doing the thing and getting the bag. So let's take that off the table right now. But yes, I got them to create a one pager, which was essentially, what are we selling? Who are we selling it to? So getting really intentional on not who do I think will buy and who can afford it, who do I actually want to sell it to, who's going to get the most value from this, at what price point. So that came up a lot yesterday, conversations around price. And again, when I think that you've got those 3 offers, those 3-tier offers in place, your proximity has to be proportionate to each of those valuable offers, and therefore it enables you to honor your boundaries more. You're not going to give your one-to-one ticket, most sacred proximity offer away at a crazy low price when you've got 2 products that could be underneath that. It enables you to really honor the value of that. So price, then where are we selling it? So this is about the platform. Does it make sense? The amount of women that I know are on Instagram when really they should be on LinkedIn, or that love to create content that are not utilizing TikTok, that deliver a lot of high value teaching content that aren't putting it on YouTube, that don't have podcasts. Like, let's get intentional about where you actually want to be creating that content, and stop listening to people that told you one time, and of course with no context or understanding of your business, that you had to be on Instagram or you have to be on Facebook. Where do you want to be? Where is your ideal client right now? What would actually make the most sense for your style of content that you like to create? Stop giving your power away to others when you intuitively probably already know that this is not giving, and you're not getting the reach or the appreciation that you probably deserve because you're on the wrong platform. So what platform are you selling it on? How are you selling it? So this is around like the sales strategy. Are you going to be selling it in the DMs? Are you going to be live launching? Are you going to be doing lives on your or utilizing your content. So having a clear call to action on your content in your lives. Are you going to be doing collaborations and guest expert sessions? Are you going to be doing it on your podcast? Are you going to be just doing it on your email list, through a wait list, through a live launch or a challenge? Like, how are you actually going to sell it? And then equally, what was the last thing? So it was, how are you going to sell it? At what price point? And I think that was really it, because ultimately, if you want to make more money than you have made this year, you need to either increase the lifetime value of your clients that you currently have and keep them with you for longer. You need to increase your prices, or you need to increase the amount of sales that you're making. So whatever strategy, and I would say go for all three. Obviously you want to do both, you want to do all of them. So where are you kind of not doing that in your, where are you losing people very quickly, burning through your clients and your audience because you have nowhere to send them after they've completed the thing? Maybe that is an opportunity to create something new, to launch that fully in the last quarter. You've got 4 months. Like, you could absolutely do this if you wanted to. If you recognize that there's a gap in your offer suite right now, maybe it's time to increase your prices, or maybe you just need to get more visible, in which case obviously the power circle would be great for you, because that is all about visibility and getting outside of your current industry, outside of your current organic reach, outside of your current connections and networks. That was supposed to be. Maybe I have invented a new word, who knows. If you are not sure about your offer suite and what that looks like, maybe you could join me in the mastermind or at the in the academy. And I just wanted to say super quick, if you haven't yet booked your ticket for the Wealthy Women Conference next year, ladies, do that, because the early bird discount is ending at the end of September. So if you have been considering it, if you have been thinking about it, if you're feeling called to it, then please do go and do that, because I would hate for you to have to pay more than you need to when you already know you're just waiting for the reminder to go and do it. So make sure you go do that. It's going to be a really beautiful 2 days. I cannot wait. I was telling the ladies yesterday that weren't there, because we were at a venue which kind of sits next to the river, which is on the river, where we're going to be having the VIP dinner on a private island in the middle of that river. So it was lovely. But yeah, so that for me, get a one pager, get super clear, put this somewhere where you can see it. What are you selling? Who are you selling it to? How are you selling it? Where are you selling it, essentially? And at what price point? Because if you've got that every day staring you in the face, it will really help you to eliminate the noise of, oh, I could just go do this thing over here. Oh, I could just do that thing. But somebody said I need to do this. Somebody said this. Actually, no, do you know what? I'm just going to give it 90 days. I'm going to give myself the best possible chance of momentum, traction, and success by just focusing on this one thing. And, again, if people come in the meantime, they're not ready to invest, and I've got other places to send them anyway. But I'm just going to do this thing and honor my potential and give myself the best possible chance for success, whatever that looks like for me. And I'm not doing it at the sacrifice of everything else that I want to achieve this year. That is my intention for you, is that you really do listen and receive and integrate and implement this episode today, and you share it, you come back to it, and you use it as your kind of just basic bitch blueprint for business, because it really doesn't have to be any harder than that. And that is what I ultimately come back to when people ask me, how do you manage it all? How do you get results when you've got so much else going on? This is it. I keep it simple. I stay focused. I block out the noise. I don't allow myself to get distracted, and I just do the damn thing until I don't feel aligned anymore, until actually something else pulls me more. And it's coming from a place of like data and intuition and wisdom, rather than fear that I've got it wrong and I'm not doing the right thing, So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. As I said, please make sure you share it, you comment, you like, you do all the things. Thank you so much for being here. And obviously, if you are interested in coming to the next event, I will pop all of the details in the show notes below. And I hope that you book your tickets, or you come and join me inside one of my programs. Have an incredible rest of your day, ladies.